We're gonna watch something today. We're gonna watch Tim Hansen's tier list of every single zombie map. We're just gonna pass a little judgment. We're just gonna see what we think on this one. It's an hour long, so let's go ahead and see what we think about this.
The worst map ever. By default, again, it did not stand a chance to begin with. It is Bus Depot, the worst part.
Bus Depot is the worst zombies map.
Ever.
I guess I can let that one go.
There is absolutely nothing on
I
this
don't know
map
if I'd
other
say
than a ray
that.
gun. Enough said. Just a smidge above that, number 35, we have Nocturne.
No.
Yes,
No. He did not put this as the second worst map of all time. This is worse than Farm. Farm doesn't have anything. I mean, it's got a box and perks. The only thing that Noct is missing is perks. But it's the first zombies map ever. There's no way. There's no way he's about to convince me that Noct is better. That Noct is a worse experience than Farm Zombies. Farm Zombies is better than Noct is an insane statement to make.
Classic, iconic, nostalgic Nocturne Totem.
Okay, so why is Farm better than it then?
We are, let me just say before we continue on with this, only focusing on the original.
Okay.
Let me repeat that. And
okay,
maps,
it's still better.
Also applicable to going forward. We are only focusing on the original version.
Okay.
The remasters are a bonus, but it's not what we're focusing on. And to clarify, a remaster is a copy and paste within a new engine. The BO1 and Zombies Chronicles remasters of Nocturne Totem won't be considered. On the other hand, Cold War's D Machine is what I would consider a reimagined version of Nocturne Totem, taking inspiration from the original, but ultimately becoming its own unique.
You're not telling me why it's better.
You will see that.
You're not telling me why Farm is better.
It's its own map, but a remaster is not. Also, this list is pure objectivity.
No.
Any personal bias whatsoever I have for any map
Noct is
will be
objectively
completely
better than
disregarded.
Farm.
There will
So
be
that's
no
a lie.
nostalgia bonus.
That's just not
There will
true.
be no preferential treatment of any map. We are purely analyzing the value of the original form of these maps.
No.
Despite being the foundation of the mode and deserving slack for such,
This is bullshit, man.
barren.
This is
There
bullshit. We're only
absolutely
two maps
nothing,
in,
of course,
and this is already fucking
other than a ray
bullshit.
gun. It does surpass Bus Depot because there's at least an ounce of significance in the story, but as far as the gameplay is concerned, there just isn't enough. You play it for that bone
An ounce of significance in the story? Hold on. Let's go back. Oh my gosh. No!
Every single Call of Duty Treyarch. Ladies and gentlemen,
No!
welcome back. As far as the gameplay is concerned,
he did not just say
there just
it only has
isn't
an ounce
enough.
of
You play it
significance.
for
It's
that
the start of the
bone-chilling,
story.
challenging
It's the
nostalgia
first
boner,
zombies
but
map
beyond
ever.
That, compared to
When you
every
see
other
this
map
after you
ever
complete the
with bare
campaign,
minimum
that's iconic,
resources,
bro.
there just
That's iconic.
isn't
8-year-old me,
a
I'll shit
legitimate
my
enough reason to
pants.
play.
I will shit in my
Sadly,
pants.
34, Farm
Okay,
places above the
okay.
other two simply
This is a
with
joke.
The addition of perks. Otherwise, it's more of the same. And number 33, you may be sadly surprised to hear, is...
No. He did not just spend, what, like 2 or 3 minutes talking about how Noct is, like, super boring, super non-nostalgic, objectively worse than Farm, and then spend, let's see.
Sadly, number 34, Farm. It places above the
How
other
long
two
is this?
simply
What,
with
like...
the addition of perks.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Perks.
It's more of the same. And number
No.
33,
He did not just spend like 2 or 3 minutes talking about Noct and then get to Farm and be like, oh, it's better because perks. No. Farm is... Look at this gameplay! This is terrible! You can't see anything! Now let's go back to Noct. Look at this. A lot better lighting, a lot better atmosphere, a lot more color. It's Farm, bro! You can't be serious! Whatever, I'll just have to get over it.
sadly surprised to hear, is Verrucht. It does have perks and it added traps, but unfortunately it still does not have Pack-a-Punch or a high-end
We haven't seen
weapon
Shino Numa
beyond
yet.
the ray
Or
gun,
Transit.
or ideal
Where's
spacing
Transit
for
at?
that matter. There really isn't a place to be. There's nowhere to
You're,
train.
you're not going to tell me
constantly
Shino's
looping
better
the
than
map,
Verrucht. No,
slowly
the
chipping
only
away at
thing
it
that
all.
Shino
It's
has
very
is the
overwhelming,
stupid high
very
rounds.
suffocating.
Like the
This map to
stupidly
me
high
is
rounds that
Nocturne
no one should be able to
Totem's
get to.
Slightly more capable older brother. It's just not very different, though. Now we're going to
is.
talk about actively bad maps. More bad than good. Their aspiration gave them great potential, but
If I
due
don't
to
see
mechanical
transit
limitations
in the
and
next
poor
3
execution became some of the
rankings, I'm gonna
designed
lose it.
maps
I'm gonna
ever.
throw
They have
up.
overwhelming issues. They do surpass the previous maps by pure virtue of having bare essentials, not being starved of resources. They did try to be expansive and innovative, but ultimately failed miserably. Where do I even begin with this? There are so many
transit.
problems with this
Oh,
map.
thank
I'll try to
goodness.
keep it sweet and to the
Well,
point.
I mean,
the main
that's
idea, of course, is a
it's
bus
low,
that
so I can
transports
give
you
him
to
that.
different segments of a
That's
collectively
fair, I guess.
large map.
Vuruct
Unfortunately,
is better
though,
than
it was
transit, though.
too
I will fight
aspirational
you on
for
that.
its
That
own
is
good,
Vuruct is
and
way
the
better than
BO2
transit ever
engine
will
held
be.
it back severely. Starting with the bus, in and of itself, it's an unreliable death trap. You're often
That's fair.
ditched
That's
and
fair.
having
That's
to
true.
run. So we're gonna throw fog at you, so you can't see it very well at all. We're gonna throw some denizens at you to fuck your face, and we're gonna pour some lava all over the ground so that you're constantly burning to death while you walk.
Okay, a good pick. A good pick. It took us 6.5 minutes to get here, but we finally got a pick I can agree with. Transit is terrible.
Now that you've made this tortuous run, you've discovered that there's too much, mostly dead space, with parts sprinkled throughout as far apart as conceivably possible, so that building the wonder weapon is far more effort than it's actually worth, given it's a heaping pile of shit that inevitably explodes after...
Hold on. Have I had this off the whole time? I've had this off the whole time. I'm gonna shit my pants. Alright, well, let's try that again.
I'd probably be just as well off upgrading my gun and running circles that way, you tell yourself. So you grab your turbine, place it down at power station, and make your way over to town, only to realize that it didn't
This pack-a-punch
open up the
system
door.
has got to
So
be
you go all the way
the
back to Bus
worst
Depot, grab a new
in
turbine,
any
rinse
zombies
and
map.
repeat an undisclosed amount of times
By
until it
far
decides that it randomly
the
wants to work.
worst. One of
and
the
then you can
worst
build
systems
the pack-a-punch
in
machine.
zombies
It's
in
also
general.
atmospherically
It's
hideous.
so
The characters
bad.
are irritating,
It's so
and I'm
bad.
indifferent towards the Victor
Why?
segment of this story. I understand.
Okay. Let's break this down. So first you need to build the turbine. Then you got to get yourself somehow, with or without the bus, to the power station, which is already terrible because you have to load up transit. Throw the turbine down in front of a door. How does that make sense? Okay, and then you got to make your way over to the town, and if by the will of God, the turbine is still operational over at the wall at the door across the map, then you can pack a punch. If it's not, which is 75% of the time, you have to go back. The bus doesn't go back, it goes forward. You have to go back to the power station, right? No, that's wrong. You have to go get another turbine. You have to go back to the starting point, back to the start of the map. Go to the power station, put down another turbine, and by that time, it's been half an hour.
And that leads us into number 31, Die Rise, the first and I would argue only majorly vertically inclined map. Like Transit, had big dreams, but
Hold on.
because it was on last gen, because of the poor execution, it ended
Vuruct.
up being a whole lot worse than it could have been.
Hold on. No, stop. Vuruct is worse than Die Rise. Vuruct is worse than Transit. Noct is worse than Transit and Die Rise. No. I'm being fucking lied to.
Threat of falling is equal to, if not greater than, the threat of the zombies
That's not
themselves,
true!
which is far from the fundamental core of the mode. I believe if you're worried more about misjumping or slipping, thus plummeting...
This dude rates Die Rise above Vuruct and Noct, and he wants to talk about the core of the mode. The core of the mode is Vuruct and Noct. Let me calm down. Hold on. The core of the mode is where it fucking started. And you rated Die Rise above Noct and Vuruct. Do you hear yourself? This is insane. This isn't right. This isn't fair.
Thousands of feet to your instant demise, wasting however much time you just poured into that game, then the zombies killing you? It's poorly designed. The counter-argument I'm always hearing is get better at jumping, and while there is certainly some validity to it, I somewhat respect Die Rise for taking a big swing, being risky, but the verticality breaks the entirety of the map.
No,
There are lots of
the
subsequent
verticality is
issues
the
that stem
map.
from the verticality, and this is confirmed by Treyarch teasing PhD Flopper, the one perk that would have been perfect for this exact type of map. Not only are
Okay, yes, I can agree with that. Yes, it would help the player with the map, but it would destroy the entire point of the map. The point of the map was the verticality, right? So if you put in a perk that negates the verticality, what do you have? You don't have the verticality portion of the map anymore. It's just annoying to go up and down. There's no danger sense to it at all. It's just an annoying map to navigate. But without PhD, it's a little bit more intense, right? So adding PhD would take away from the feeling you get when you play Die Rise. I'm not saying Die Rise is a perfect map. I'm not saying Die Rise is like a great map. But I think having PhD in there would destroy the entire purpose of the verticality.
problems.
Does that
We're
make
gonna take
sense?
away the one
Does that
thing
make
that
sense?
could
Or am I
potentially
schizophrenic?
neutralize it, you fucking nerd. I would say the one redeeming quality is the Sliquifier. It is inarguably the best wonder weapon of all time.
Yes,
Pre-patch.
yes,
Post-patch,
yes. That's
arguably still
true.
is. It's
That's
super
true.
easy to build.
That is so true. And why they patched this weapon, and then in the very next game, in Shadows of Evil, they added the most overpowered wonder weapon of all time in the very first map, I will never understand. Because it is so much better than this gun. It is so much. The Apothecant Servant is so much better than this gun, and yet let's nerf it, right? Let's nerf it. It's too good. What's wrong with that? The Thunder Gun's good. They didn't nerf that. There's so many guns that they have not nerfed that are completely overpowered. But no, the Sliquifier was too far on one of the maps that needed a good wonder weapon most.
Build, very fun to use. Unfortunately, though, it is a catalyst towards death. Do not use this near the ledges, which is much easier said than done. The same shit that's helping you kill the zombies is ultimately going to kill you.
Who's using this near ledges? Come on. We're in 2024, and people are still using this near ledges on Die Rise. Get real. Come on. Let's be serious. Let's be for real about this. That's not happening.
The next category of maps, just above actively bad, are unmasters. Remasters that did the exact opposite. Now, to
Okay,
be
you
clear,
know,
they're not
I can think of a
direct
few. This is
remasters,
a
as we
fair.
talked about earlier.
This
These
is a
are
fair
reimagined.
category.
They tried to positively expand on
Wait,
their
we still haven't
predecessor,
seen
only to
Shinonuma.
get worse in just about every regard.
We
Not
still
only are
have
they
not
bad,
seen
they're
Shinonuma on this
unoriginal.
list.
And let me just say, perhaps my biggest point of emphasis is originality, innovation. You can't be unoriginal and fail into play.
Blood of the Dead better
Fortunately
be
for
in
these
this.
maps, there's
Blood
just
of the
enough
Dead.
of a trace of
Blood of the Dead better be in this. It looks like Alpha Omega is already in this. Those are two completely fair maps. Classified better be in this. I think those are the only three. TOG as well. If we consider TOG like a remaster or a remake, it should be in this as well. Call of the Dead was way better. If I don't see those four, this list is fucked.
Number 30, Alpha Omega, a
Okay,
remaster
okay,
of
yes,
a
yes.
remaster of the most.
Nuketown Zombies was not good. It was not a good map. It's Nuketown. You know, it's kind of annoying. It's the random perks were a terrible idea. The M27 was cool, but Alpha Omega is fucking terrible.
It's the little things. It's the Novas that electrocute you constantly.
Who put those Nova crawlers in the game? I gotta know. I gotta know this shit. Who put those in the game? Because they are the worst special zombie in all of COD Zombies. All of COD Zombies. I'd rather deal with the fucking regular crawlers. I'd rather deal with 3 panzers in 1 round than these stupid motherfuckers. These electric zombies, not, oh, I'm going crazy. Not electric zombies. These elemental crawlers are so dog shit. They're so terrible. And I know they were on a time crunch. They didn't have enough time. But there is a timeline where they did, and this map was good. And we do not live in that timeline. We are not even close to that timeline. This sucks.
I'll avoid the headache. The whole point was to expand with the story in BO4. Unfortunately, it was super anticlimactic.
I don't understand why they chose Nuketown to do that though. I'm not caught up with the BO4 story because to be honest, I don't quite give a shit after Black Ops 3. Why did they do Nuketown? Why did they do Nuketown again? Why didn't they just do a Great War map like we thought they were gonna do like 6 fucking years ago?
29.
Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. Okay. Blood of the Dead is objectively not the worst map of all time, but looking at it through the lens of Mob of the Dead going into Blood of the Dead, it butchers every fun aspect of Mob. The Golden Gate Bridge gone, replaced with what? A fucking just the pack a punch sitting there. Wow, that's awesome. That's cool. That's great. Thank you so much. The spectral shield is terrible. Who uses the key effect? It's just for the Easter egg that is tedious, annoying, 4 hours long. It's annoying. It's my gosh. It what were they thinking? The tomahawk is not as good. You're already overpowered on Black Ops 4 as it is, so it takes away the challenge. Afterlife, the entire point of the power system in Mob of the Dead, gone. That was another thing that made it super unique. They just completely took that out, replaced it with what? A power switch, like every other map. So there's one more thing that made Mob of the Dead unique, gone. The acid gap, who needs it? Who needs it, right? Who needs it? On the map that it's introduced on the remake of the map that it's introduced on, who needs it? Now, I'm not saying the Magma Gat's bad, because it's not. But the Acid Gat was cooler. It was just cooler. They took Mob of the Dead, blended it up, took out the good parts, and, gave us the rest. So, yeah, I agree with this. Terrible, terrible remake.
Blood of the Dead. Spoiler alert, Mob of the Dead, the original, is one of the greatest maps ever. Does an excellent job at taking everything that made Mob of the Dead so special
Exactly.
and either scrapping it entirely
Maybe there's
or
hope.
replacing it
There's hope for
with
this.
meaningless scrap. I understand
Yes!
that this is a result
I
of
agree
the
with
story
all
taking
this.
such a major shift. And for whatever it's worth, I think the story carries whatever value this map has. Premise works, but let's be honest, it was the original mob
Yes!
in the original prison
Yes,
with
yes,
the original
yes.
escape
The
plan
characters in
that
the
made
original
this
Mob
map
of the
so
Dead
special.
were
The atmosphere,
amazing.
the vibes,
They were fleshed
can't
out
compare.
in just one map. They fleshed out all 4 characters amazingly. They had their own special quotes. They had quotes that we don't even get now. Like when they go down or when they're in Afterlife, they have these like monologues to themselves that really gives you an insight into what they're thinking. And I don't think we have anything like that in any other map. It's truly a special thing for Mob of the Dead. And the voice actors, the celebrity voice cast, did an amazing job. They did a super impressive job. I can't praise this map enough for its storytelling, and Blood of the Dead really did just take that and just flushed it all down the toilet and gave us just it just watered it down so much, made it so much more convoluted than it needed to be. It ruined it. It just ruined everything good about it. Or just took it out
But the real
entirely.
tragedy here is the layout. The map design got worse in every way.
Yes, this is true as well. After you get out of the spawn and you go through the hallway, there's no reason to go back there. Unless the box is over there, there is no reason to go back there at all. There's no reason to go back over there. I mean, there's nothing for you unless you go down and you need that perk again. And then all you're gonna do is run back, grab the perk, and then run back to where Mob of the Dead is. They really just expanded to this part for nothing. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking with this. I know in the original Mob of the Dead they wanted to expand more than they did, but I don't think this was the right way to do it at all. It was just useless, and it added nothing to the map.
Expanded the island and essentially divided it into 2 sections bridged together by a deathly catwalk. We spawn in Richtofen's lab within the first section.
What I will say is the catwalk area when you run through and all the zombies come out, that is an amazing experience for the first few times. It's like a good barrier, and the semi cutscene with Brutus really does add some effect to the map. Other than that, though, they didn't add anything super impactful like that to the map. Like if they would have went with more changes like that that were cinematic and cool and changed the way you play up to a certain point, then yeah, this map could have really been great. But the way they implemented all the changes and took out stuff that did not need to be taken out at all, stuff that made the map genuinely great and unique and something you would want to come back and replay, they took it out and then changed it to stuff that really is just boring. Like the key shield is boring. It's useless. Um, the pack a punch staying in one spot, there was no reason to change that. There's just no reason. I understand that they had production issues and things like that, but don't make like 4 maps for launch if you can't handle that. You know what I'm saying? Like they really they tried to do so much, and I appreciate that. I can appreciate that they tried to do a lot for the community. They tried to give us as many maps as they could. But at the same time, I'd rather have 2 really good maps or even 1 super good map like Shadows of Evil than get 4 maps like this where 9 is good. The rest are kind of, either okay or bad. I wish they would have put all their effort into 1 or 2 maps instead of dividing it and ending up with what we had in Black Ops 4.
Don't not open this gate unless you are armed to the teeth. You
Yes,
will
this catwalk
die.
is
All right,
really
now we're back
difficult
at
to
Mob
do.
of the Dead, the only part of the island that matters. I know you're used to grabbing parts to build a plane, to make your way to the Golden Gate Bridge to pack a punch, but don't worry about any of that. We got rid of all of that.
Yeah,
so
that's
that
what
you
I'm
can
saying.
focus
They
on
took
grabbing
out the
shield
best parts of the
and then
map.
tediously absorbing soul after soul so that you can then activate a moving pack-a-punch machine.
Oh,
Look,
it
we
moves.
opened up
That's
the
right. It
warden's
does
house.
move.
How interesting.
I said it stays still, but it moves, and there's no way to tell where it's at besides running around the entire map to find it. Great change.
I think I'd rather play Mob of the Dead.
Yes.
I have done.
Oh, goodness, what is this? Is this about to be Nuketown? Oh my gosh, it is. Okay, anyways, what was I about to say about Blood of the Dead? Let's go back.
Really cool, but at this point,
Yes, okay. I appreciate that they tried to change stuff and make it more engaging, but I genuinely would rather just play the original. The characters are better, the gameplay is better, the feel of the game is better, the systems are better, the map flow is better. They tried to do too much, and okay, that's enough talking about Blood of the Dead. I've been on this map for too long.
I think I'd rather play Mob of the Dead. I have dubbed the next category of maps minimal fun. They're a lot like the starved maps in
okay.
essence.
Okay.
They're small, confined.
Let's see. What should be on minimal fun? It should be Shinonuma. It should be Nuketown is definitely correct. I see that already. It should be, what else has not been on this list yet? It should be Voyage of Despair. It should be what's that first deal? The fact that I can't even remember what it's called. Dead of the Night. That should be on there. But anyway, let's see what's on here. Let's see what's on here.
Survival maps, but in this case provide a little bit more meat on the bone, therefore giving you a reasonable fight. These are actually fun. They're actually worth playing because you don't have to sweat your nuts off the entire time. Number 28.
Okay, well then that's definitely not going to be
Nuketown.
Voyage of Despair.
That's right, the most iconic multiplayer
Or Dead of the
map
Night
ever. As far as translating to zombies, could have been worse, could have been better. It's not that.
I don't know. I don't know what they could have done to make it better. I mean, Nuketown just wasn't built for zombies, so what they did was interesting. Was it the best choice for the perks to come in randomly? I don't know. Maybe Shinonuma's approach to where the perks spawn in different areas, but you don't have to wait 5 rounds would have been a better addition to this map. But they tried it for the first time. It didn't work. They didn't try it again. So I'm not too mad that they tried something new. It's just I wish it could have been implemented better overall.
Deep though, it doesn't take itself too seriously. The big distinction separating it from the starved maps is
The M27 on this map is awesome. The M27 is, I think it is just a reskin for like the Galil or something, but it genuinely feels like a new weapon. Like it's a completely different weapon. I don't know if that's the sound design or just because I'm retarded, but I don't know if that's the sound design or just it genuinely is a good addition to the map and it adds some personality and reason to come back to play.
Is basically
Okay. Town and minimal fun, really? Come on. Town, everybody's played Town. It's like the Kino of Black Ops 2. I mean, Town is the map for starting on Black Ops 2. You don't play Transit, you don't play Farm, you don't play Bus Depot, you definitely don't play Turned, you play Town. Town is always having the highest player count for public matches. And there's a reason for that. Because you can just jump in, start playing, get to whatever round you can get to, and have fun. So Town being the slow, I don't think I can agree with that. But it could be worse. Kind of. I don't know. I think it definitely should be a lot higher, maybe closer to the mid tier. Not high tier, but mid tier would be a lot better. Town deserves better than this.
Nuketown without the random perk spawn. I love Town because it compresses Transit into its strongest segment.
Okay, so why is it so low then?
To the fun. I would
Why is it
not
so low?
at all be surprised if I have played more Town than any other BO2 map. And I'm sure
Then why is it low? Why is it so low then?
a lot of y'all can actually relate because, after all, it is hands down the most tolerable of this collectively disastrous launch. It is too basic to justify placing much higher than this.
To hear this one more time, I'm gonna lose my mind. What does it need to have? What else does it need to have? What Easter egg is Town gonna have? What characters is Town gonna have? Town does what it needs to do, and it does it well. It does it better than any of the other survival maps. And you put it at 27? Come on. You just said you have the most playtime on this map. So why is it this low?
Although it is about as good as these basic survival maps get.
Yes.
Right above that, sitting
Thank
awkwardly
God.
at number 26,
No.
we have the Pentagon 5.
No.
which
No. We are not putting 5 this low. We did not put Voyage of Despair above 5. There is no way that this is happening. Dead of the Night didn't even get a trailer. It didn't even get a map trailer until after it was out. And 5 is below it. And 5 is below both of them.
sort of fits into this category, sort of doesn't.
This is illegal.
On one hand, super unique, and I appreciate that. He obviously can take your loadout, can be...
Is this a controversial opinion in 2024? I think 5 is better than Kino, and we still haven't seen Kino yet. Not that it should be this low. 5, to me, is just a better map.
very frustrating. What really holds 5 back is the poor spacing. It's a lot like Varrock.
Buddy, Shangri-La is above this. We haven't seen Shangri-La yet. And you're telling me the spacing on 5 is a problem? It's supposed to be a tight-knit map. That's what makes it difficult. Kino is the spaced out starter map for everybody to get used to the new systems. And 5 is the more difficult bonus map. That's what it's for. It's what it's supposed to do. You saying this means that it does it well. So, let's just keep playing. Maybe he'll explain.
You have traps. You have a semi-decent training spot. Not really. You can technically make this work, but it is an uphill battle. So while 5 is conceptually...
That's the point of the map! That's the point of the map!
superb, it is very suffocating.
That's the point! That's the
I
point!
like to call these next couple of maps recycled.
What is this?
and
Is this Forsaken?
snooze. Yes, lots of cute clips.
No. Forsaken is not above 5. No. He did not put the recycled campaign map above Town and 5. This is not real.
Clever names. for these tiers. They take inspiration from previous experiences, and while aren't necessarily downgrades, while they're not quite as embarrassing as an Alpha, Omega, or Blood of the Dead, they are still unimpressive. They do offer more than these super primitive maps, though. Number 25.
He just said town does everything it needs to do well. So why is he now saying these missed the mark? But they're above town. It doesn't make sense.
Another street. You then teleport to another street.
Okay, why is
you
it
then
above
teleport
5?
to the amplifier, and then you teleport to
Okay,
Pack
so
a
why is it
Punch,
above
and then
5?
you can zip line back and forth between the other two streets. It is the most linear, boring, predictable layout ever.
So why
and
is
a
it
good
above 5?
percentage of it is closed off from artillery. I'm a big fan of chopper gunners. They're badass, and they're essentially a get-out-of-jail-free card. But in the amplifier room, you cannot use it. And don't even get me started on the overwhelming clusterfuck of returning boss zombies.
So you
I
can't
really
use it
wanted
in
to
one
see
room.
mimics
Like,
again.
who?
Definitely. And while I'm not
cares?
necessarily
I mean,
reducing points for an
come on.
uninteresting plot, given that, as far as I'm concerned, Cold War Zombies is driven almost exclusively by the gameplay, I couldn't give a fuck less about the story.
That's actually
certainly
fair.
doesn't
That's actually
help.
true.
It's not a particularly strong map, but it does provide more than the super basic maps we've talked about thus far, and I think there is some fun to be had.
Okay, how? It's got a good wonder weapon. It's got a good wonder weapon. What else is good about this map? I don't know. It's got a good wonder weapon, but apparently that makes it better than 5. And town. And Verrucht.
You do
and
have
Noct.
a pretty dope wonder weapon in the Crystal
yeah,
Axe.
yeah,
You have
I agree with
ideal
that.
Spacing, Pack-a-Punch. You can have the same amount of fun mindlessly running circles in this map as you would on a map like Town, for instance, but with more.
Dude, why is it above it?
Number 24, Tog.
Okay,
Yes,
yes.
Remake. Unlike, I don't know.
Why do they destroy the wonder weapons on this map? Why do they just pick them up and decide, hey, yeah, these iconic, great wonder weapons, let's fuck them up.
Blood of the Dead. It has a
Let's add shit that doesn't need to be added, that takes away from the map more than adds to it. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
positive,
Thank
if
you.
at least not
Black Ops 4,
totally
thank you.
negative atmospheric shift with a new fun summer beach vibe, which I dig. It
Summer Beach? Are we looking at the same map? It's covered in snow.
works. Wonderwaff, if the Wonderwaff stopped taking its antidepressants, it is not good.
I'd more say the Wonderwaff if it was off a speedball.
Good. And I think the fattest L that was took here was the replacement of George Romero, the heart and soul of not only Call of Duty
Yes. I agree with this. Okay.
Zombies, but the genre
I agree with
as
this.
a
Yes.
whole with dogs. Again, the most commonly used thing. The BO4
The
Ether
dogs
remakes
replaced
are
George,
disappointing.
bro.
They feel
We
like
will
fluff
never-
to supplement what was, although ambitious, a poorly
I will
received
never
Chaos
forgive Treyarch for
storyline.
this.
This map is a step down from Call of the Dead. Not nearly as given that Call of the Dead exists and I can go play it, I would rather just do that, thus leaving Tog with
I'm starting to see a theme with a lot of these in this category, that the original is just better, but apparently that still makes it better than 5. What does he mean by this?
Unlike the previous few maps, they were ambitious, they were innovative, they took a big swing. Unfortunately, they largely flopped.
Okay. Obviously, Voyage of Despair. We see that already. What else? Dead of the Night. All of Black Ops 4. Shangri-La, maybe. Moon. Maybe Moon. Let's
But they
see.
weren't quite
That's what I think.
as much
That's
of a
what I think so
dumpster
far.
fire as an actively bad map like a Transit or a Die Rise. They certainly provide more and deserve more credit than a map that played by the rules, had all the answers to the test, and still ended up dull. Look no further than number...
What? You better not be talking about 5 right now. 5 is not dull. 5 is a great map. 5 is at least a B tier map. Voyage of Despair? No fucking way is it better than 5. It's not even better than Town. You gotta be kidding me.
Number 23, Voyage of Despair. If you had told me that COD Zombies was going to take place on the Titanic a decade ago, my brain would have
Firebase Z
exploded. There was immense
is
potential.
above all of this.
It sounded
I
like
just
a
want you to know
brilliant
that.
idea on paper.
Firebase Z is
Unfortunately, the
above every
potential
single one
was
of these
missed,
maps so far.
primarily with the Easter egg, which could have been something along the lines of saving the ship from sinking, you know, focusing more on one of the most infamous tragedies in human history. No, it has to do with this giant ice eye in the sky.
That is a good boss fight, though. That boss fight is one of the best in COD history. It is a really good boss fight.
And planets.
Pretty difficult,
and,
too, actually,
who the fuck
even though the rest
knows?
of the Easter eggs
new
suck.
Chaos storyline debuts with a new cast of characters, which I give it credit for, despite being a little underwhelming.
Hold on. What did you just say?
Cast of characters, which I give it credit for, despite being a little underwhelming.
These characters suck. I think I'd rather play as Victus than these characters.
It's the Titanic. How could it go wrong? Well, if you really think about it, when you are trying to faithfully and accurately portray a real location, you only have so much creative freedom.
Okay, yes, but Mob of the Dead did this, and it's one of the greatest maps ever. It's one of the greatest gaming experiences through storytelling and gameplay of all time. And it did the same thing. So there is no reason that Voyage of Despair had to be this underwhelming and bad of a map layout-wise when Mob of the Dead did the same thing and was infinitely better.
Where it feels like each floor is a copy and paste stacked on top of each other.
That
a map like
is
5,
actually a
for
fact.
example, also struggles with this issue.
What?
It's based on a real location and thus cannot deviate too far from that design.
Look at what's on screen right now. There's a teleporter. There's a teleporter in... You're telling me they go around the Pentagon in teleporters? You gotta be kidding me, bro. This ain't real. This ain't real.
While trying to maintain the integrity of the Pentagon, and the same thing applies here with the Titanic. Not
You
to
telling me they
mention
got
the
pigs strung up
vibes
at the bottom
are
of the
a bit
Pentagon?
off. It's a bit dull.
That is not the same.
Atmospherically, given that we are riding a soon-to-be watery grave on a freezing cold night in the Atlantic. I say all of that to say that Voyage does offer an experience that you cannot get anywhere else.
A bad one. A bad one. This map is so annoying. It's too complicated. And I like complicated maps. Shadows of Evil is the best zombies map of all time. And you mean to sit here and tell me... Let's hear this again.
Are a bit off. It's a bit dull atmospherically. I say all of that to say that Voyage does offer an experience that you cannot get anywhere else. It is unique. It is expansive. I
Uniquely bad.
enjoy using the Kraken, and I can appreciate what Voyage is despite its limitations. Which transitions us beautifully into number 22.
Thank you. It's finally here.
Another chaos map.
Dead of the Night.
Of the Night. Atmospherically,
Let's think about this. Dead of the Night is better than Nuketown. Dead of the Night is better than Togdertoten, Forsaken, 5, Town, Blood of the Dead, Alpha Omega, Die Rise, Transit, Verrucht, Farm, Nocturne Toten, Bus Depot. Oh my gosh. Wait a minute. Classified is above all this. Oh, what else is above all this? Let's just see.
Stunning.
Let's find out.
Conceptually great. Unfortunately, still a better idea on paper. Fighting
Yes.
zombies and vampires and
I'll just let him explain it.
Still a better
'Cause
idea
he's about
on
to say
paper.
exactly what I'm
Fighting
thinking.
zombies and vampires and werewolves with ghosts and puzzles and mysteries in this giant spooky mansion. It sounds like a terrifying but beautiful nightmare. It was poorly executed. I really don't know where to start.
Yes, it sounds amazing on paper, And when you think about it, you're like, oh my gosh, that would be so cool for a zombies map. But in practice, it throws too much at you. You've got too much to remember, too much to worry about at once and finish and get done and collect. And it's just sensory overload in a map. And not to mention, Activision did not give a fuck about this map. The Easter egg was already solved before the US even got their hands on it because of time zone differences. They didn't care about this map. And you know what? If they don't care about it, why should I?
Vampires and bullet sponge werewolves. Modern day problems require modern day solutions, though. So, while you're simultaneously
To combat all of this, you have to you have to do quests for so many different things just to be able to fight the enemies on the map. If there was just like one thing you could use on all of them, or they're just like they took the enemies out and put them on a different map that fit the theme, even though they all fit the theme. But you know what I mean? Like there's just too many different enemies, too many different things you have to get, too many quests you got to do to get them, and it's sad because this could have been amazing. I mean, look at the gameplay we're
trying to
seeing. This
acquire
map is
3 tuning
beautiful,
forks for
and they clearly had passion for the map. It just didn't turn out the way I think they wanted it to.
And you thought you were going to play this map without a Mr. Raffle Waffles tutorial. You silly you. Also, we're going to sprinkle in catalysts because we hate you.
If you play this map without a tutorial, I think you might be eligible for Harvard, bro. Like, you gotta be one smart motherfucker to be able to do this whole map without guides, bro. Mr. Raffle Waffles is getting like 5 views off of you every time you play this map.
This list, I don't mind putting forth lots of effort for lots of reward, as long as the ratio is balanced, as long as the exchange is fair.
I think he's about to say it, but in the map, Dead of the Night, it doesn't treat you fairly for the amount of effort you gotta put into this.
In Dead of the Night's case, I wouldn't say that's exactly true. And I will say these characters are absolutely in contention.
These characters are so bad. You gotta play this map with the voice sound off. I forgot about the characters. They're so bad. They got a voice cast of celebrities, and this is what they did with it, bro. It's so bad.
Anyways, I do appreciate, like Voyage, how daring this map was, what it brings to the table, what it represents. But the game,
100%. I can appreciate the experimentation
Don't
on
worry,
the map.
folks. We are now pivoting into the actively good maps,
Okay,
which are frankly
okay.
the majority.
I'm
Even
so
the
glad he
quote-unquote
said that.
bad maps we've discussed thus far are playable and enjoyable.
I'm so glad he said that. I was really
extent.
concerned
All of
for a
Treyarch
minute.
Zombies gets a green light from Timmy. This next category is recycle.
We still haven't seen Shinonuma. Where is it? Where is it at?
And improved maps that took inspiration.
No, dude. Revelation is not worse than Shinonuma. Come on. This can't. Did I miss it? Did I miss Shinonuma somewhere? No, I didn't miss it. It's still here somewhere.
But positively expanded on them. So naturally, there's going to be more positivity than negativity going forward. Although a lot of you are going to be surprised and potentially very angry at your boy for this placement. At number 21, we have Revelations. Again, there are no
Where is this in the list?
issues with any
It's
of
kind
the
of midway,
upcoming
I
maps.
guess.
Everything going forward is a net.
I could agree with this placement. Revelations is like it's a good map, but I'm not gonna like go out of my way to play it all the time. I think it's good for high rounds for sure. If you've never done high rounds before, it's a good place to start.
Earlier, I put a huge emphasis on innovation, originality, providing something that no other map does, and Revelation
5 provided challenge. 5 was in the Pentagon, and the bottom layers of the Pentagon where there's experiments going on. And he wants to talk about originality and innovation. He's got Shinonuma, a fucking swamp map. Above this, he's got Ascension. Well, Ascension is kind of cool, but it's a simple map. Above 5? I can't get over this, man.
relies more on nostalgia and returning features than any map
Shangri-La
ever.
still
After
hasn't
the
showed
initial
up.
Infatuation wears off, you quickly realize
No
it
way.
is a giant recycling bin. There isn't a single original wonder weapon, and of the myriad
that's true.
of bosses, only one, the furries, be unique. And other than inside
What did he just say?
The Apothecan's Belly and Spawn, every bit of this map is comprised of fragments of actual, original, innovative maps. And to be honest, I think it would have been acceptable had the ending not been so anticlimactic, so disappointing, and frankly, with the release of Zombies Chronicles, with the majority of these
Yeah, I can agree with this. The ending of the map really kind of killed my motivation to keep up with the zombie storyline. I mean, I watched 8 fucking hours of zombies storyline in one video just for it to end by being like, oh, well, it's a cycle, just like Mob of the Dead, hee hee. Yeah, I mean, like, it's cool to call back to Mob of the Dead, but really? We built up for years just to get this?
maps being individually
Hey,
remastered, a lot of
tell
the
me if you want to
incentive
see
to
me
play
go over
Revelations
the zombie
disappeared. So I
storyline,
do think, in the
because I'd
grand
love
scheme
to
of
do
things,
that.
it is unoriginal and a bit underwhelming. With that all being said, I do still think it did a relatively good job. It certainly could have done much worse. It did
That's
blend everything
true.
together well. It's atmospherically
Forsaken is a good example of that. Forsaken has no map flow, where at least this has like some decent map flow.
gorgeous, great spacing, seamless flow, and it has some of the
Hey,
most fun OP wonder weapons ever, thus making one of the best high rounds out there. Revelations is, ironically, not a revelation. It is not groundbreaking by any means, but it is the absolute epitome of fun. Number 20, Classified.
That's a good way to put
5
it.
reimagined of the BO4.
How is 5? How is 5 at number? Let's see. What is 5? 5 is number 26, and the 5 remake is 20. The remake took out some of the best parts of 5. The parts that made it chaotic, like the Pentagon Thief, like the random teleporters, he took them out. And you mean to sit here and tell me that this is... That's like saying Blood is better than Mob. It's not true. It's not true.
While fixing its core issues.
No, it didn't!
Space is actually meaningful. It's not a waste. It improves what was an otherwise restricted map. They fixed the teleporters. They are now reliable and...
They made the teleporters worse. The point of the teleporters was that they were random. If they wanted them to go somewhere in specific, they would have done that, like they did here. But the point was for it to be chaotic and unpredictable, so that's the way they went with it.
And consistent. They also buffed
Dude, he
the
must
Witcher's
really
Howl,
not like
and
5 or
though,
something.
admittedly, replacing the Pentagon Thief with Hounds was a lame
Thank
move.
you. Thank you.
It's not that
That's
big of a
something.
deal. The reason I place Classified above Revelations is because I find it a whole lot more impressive. I respect a map that improved upon what was an otherwise very flawed,
Very
but
debatable.
concept
Very debatable, but I'll
over
let
a
that one
map
slide
that
this time.
relies on lots of different maps, has a bit of an identity crisis. And number 19 goes to D Machine.
I really like this map. I think this is the second best Cold War map, but for this to be the starting map was a really great move by Treyarch. It brought in so many more people. People that didn't even play zombies were on this thing. I mean, when this game launched, I was on this motherfucker every day.
Like the previous few maps we've discussed, it takes inspiration from the past, in this case Nocturne Toten. Unlike those maps, however, it isn't entirely predicated on that. It builds around it, forming a separate entity.
Yes, this is not Noct. Noct is like a very small part of this map. I wouldn't even say it's like, might be like a quarter of the map space, if that. But it is, oh my gosh.
It still
I
is
really
a part
enjoy
of the
this
map.
map.
It's no longer the primary focus. That would now be the previously inaccessible forest and new underground bunker. Everything is laid out for you. Power and Pack-a-Punch are easy. The 4 elemental variants of the Shockwave make it one of the more dynamic wonder weapons. Plague Hounds and the
I think they could have
Megaton
done
are
better
cool
with the wonder weapons for
bosses.
sure.
I love the aesthetic, the vibes. It
But
feels like I'm
I
playing
get
a
it. I mean,
first-person arcade shooter.
they
and
did
I
something
especially
new.
love the Dark Ether. It is visually stunning.
Yes,
I
the
love
Dark
the light
Ether
and dark duality. I
as
enjoy this map. It was
the
the
Dark
perfect
Ether
way
color
to kick
scheme
off
is
the
amazing.
Cold War era. I struggled to come up with a distinct idea.
No way. No way. Did he just... No. Firebase Z? No. No, dude. Firebase Z has got to be a lot lower than this. Firebase Z is so boring. There's nothing cool about this map. The Ray case, I mean, like, that's kind of cool, but That's about it. Dude, if we were on a roll, then you pulled this shit out.
For this tier for the next few maps. They are good and solid like the previous few,
No,
but
D Machine is
unlike
way
those
better.
are
D Machine
completely
is way
unique.
better
Keep
than
in
this
mind,
map.
we are
This
in
is
the
probably the
smack dab
weakest.
middle of this list.
No,
So
this
by
is the
definition,
second
these
weakest
maps are
Cold
quite
War Zombies
literally
map.
mid.
Easily.
I think they're good. The majority of maps
D
are,
Machine
like
is
I
not
said.
mid.
Number
D Machine is
18
good.
Firebase Z. I understand it's not
18,
the
bro.
most
5 is so
exhilarating
much
map
better
out
than this.
there. I don't understand, however, why it catches as much shit as it does. It feels a bit
Explain to me why.
unwarranted.
Why?
It is
Why do you like
solid.
this map?
I like the fiery jungle vibe.
Okay.
The spacing is good. The Ray K is fun and dynamic. The assault waves
Fair.
keep you on your toes and break monotony.
I don't know about those.
The only thing that pisses me off about this map, the only real complaint I have, are the mimics. But
yes!
at least they took a swing.
Yes!
Would I choose to play Firebase over D Machine? Not necessarily.
What?
My personal bias will not be in.
What? Why is it? Why is it above it?
Injected here. Objectively, Firebase is just about everything that D Machine is without the added benefit of building upon a previously.
Okay, so it's got the benefit of building off of Noct. Then why is Firebase here and D Machine is before it?
Existing map. Firebase is original. And right above that, at number 17, we
the best zombies map in Cold War by far. I'm like a hooker to crack for this map.
have Mauer der Toten. If you haven't noticed already, all of the Cold War maps, aside from Forsaken, which is a clear down, is original. And right above that, at number...
This is the best Cold War zombies map by a landslide. I am like a crackhead to crack for this shit. Okay, so if this man comes on here and says, blah, 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 this map is good, but I'm gonna lose my mind.
Number 17, we have Mauer der Toten. If you haven't noticed already, all of the Cold War maps, aside from Forsaken, which is a clear downgrade from the rest, are
That's
all
facts.
next to each other in chronological order. So that just goes to show that they're not, in essence, very different from one another. It's clearly more...
I wouldn't say that. I think they are very different. I just think they have a similar quality in gameplay and flow.
original than D Machine, and clearly a
But
notch
Mauer
above
definitely is the best by
Firebase,
far.
primarily through the Cerberus, which is quite possibly one of the best wonder weapons ever. There are a few different attachments on top of the base
I don't
model.
know, but
Every
it is
few
an
kills you get,
insanely
a zombie
fun
drops
weapon
one of
to
them,
use.
constantly switching up the gameplay, breaking the monotony. You essentially have unlimited ammo. They are super dynamic and fun to use. Moreover, the
They literally have
concept
an ammo
of Berlin
box.
Wall zombies, super cool and perfectly encapsulates the Cold War era. I also enjoy the return of Papa Panza. All Cold War maps
I don't know.
feel quite similar, but Mauer
I wish
is
they would make some new boss zombies, because the Manglers have been reused like 5 times at this point. The Panzers have come back 2 or 3 times. The Margwas have been reused. The Mimics are kind of like Margwas, but you know, I'm not gonna classify that as bringing them back. They need to make some
Number
original
16
stuff again,
goes
man.
to
Okay,
Buried,
that's fair.
which is
That
unfortunately roped in
wait. Shinonuma has still not made an appearance.
with the rest of
Shinonuma
the
has still
Victor
not made an
storyline,
appearance
but
on this
is
list.
somehow the clear outlier. Why is this? There are several reasons. I think a good starting point would be the overall design, which admittedly is a little clunky. It's far from
Shangri-La still hasn't made an
perfect,
appearance
but
either.
it is nowhere near the dumpster fire of a Transit or a Die Rise.
Yeah, I don't understand how
love
we
the
went from
concept and the
Transit to
atmosphere,
Die
the
Rise to
classic American
Buried.
Western town,
Like,
buried
there is a
underground,
very clear
an
difference between
unlikely
two,
duality
the
that
other
not
two,
only was daring,
and
but
this
worked.
one.
Not only that, but the gameplay is some of the most innovative and unique ever.
Yeah, this map genuinely feels like a whole different game from Black Ops 2. Like, if you played Transit and you went to Buried, that's not even the same game, dude. They are 2 completely different ball games.
Paralyzer, Mark II, Time Bombs, Vulture Raid, build...
Those time bombs are annoying as shit in public match, bro. You know, everybody's had it happen. The one dude that throws down the time bomb in round 1 waits till he goes down on round 20 and resets that motherfucker for everybody.
Drawing chalk outlines of guns for
That
thousands
was a
of
really
points,
cool
and of
new
course,
addition.
Leroy, Arthur, whatever the fuck his name is. It's so out of pocket, yet so brilliant, dynamic. The possibilities with candy and booze are limitless. Whether it's opening up the map, building things, or smacking the shit out of some
It was kind of
Z's. And
annoying to
course,
do that
who
every
could
single
forget
game,
the
but,
Witch's
I
House?
get it.
It's unlike
It was something new,
anything
so I
we've
can't
seen
complain that
before.
much.
Open the door, run along and shoot. Don't get robbed by the whore. You better watch your back or she'll touch your bum and take your funds. You better run. And once you get to the end, hopefully, for Pack-a-Punch, you have some money to spend. Here's a free perk, my friend. Buried is outstanding,
Bro, turned Dr. Seuss for a minute. That was fire.
except for one little thing that keeps it from being potentially even higher, and that is the one-dimensional high rounding.
That's
Despite all of
true.
the fun quirks and resources at
There's
your
only, like,
disposal, the
2
gameplay
methods
ultimately
to
boils
get to
down
high
to
rounds
and
on this
almost
map.
exclusively promotes camping, sitting in a
Yeah.
corner with the
Yeah, it does.
paralyzer, with vulture aid, buildables, and tapping. Can we go outside on board? Like I alluded to earlier, the spacing is tight. It's not ideal for training. It's much easier and smarter to camp. I don't
You already know what I'm about to say. The spacing is tight. It's at number, what, like 16? Yeah, number 16. And 5 is all the way back here at number 26. You serious?
mind that being the main strategy, but if it's the only strategy, it takes away greatly from the excitement. Otherwise, fantastic map. This is when we start talking about the
Ooh,
truly
yes.
great maps.
Yes.
The next few,
Yes,
however,
yes,
are
yes.
great,
Call of the Dead.
but unsteady. They are
Okay.
unique,
Unsteady, what do you mean by that?
expansive, high-quality experiences, but with a pinch of chaos.
Yes. Yes, that perfectly describes Call of the Dead. I get the feeling Shangri-La is going to be in this category. What else could be in here? If Shinonuma is this high, and it is, I think I might just have to drink a certain fluid. Bleach.
At number 15, we have my beloved Call of the Dead. I really wish I could place it so much higher. It is one of my personal favorites. It is a one of one. It is legendary. But
Yes,
we are
it
being
is.
objective.
No.
Despite being a phenomenal map, it does have one glaring weakness.
Is it the
The wonder
scavenger?
weapons. While
Yeah.
some of the most creative
Yeah.
and fun to use out there
They are really
severely
underpowered.
limited, which
How
wouldn't
did they
be
go
so back
from how did they go from a thunder gun to a scavenger and a VR11? Like, could somebody please explain that to me? Because there is a very clear power difference.
breaking if there were traps. To supplement this issue, there are no traps, thus high rounding suffers. The VR11 is interesting but awful. The scavenger is exciting but craps out in the mid 40s, and the WAF, the only infinite damage wonder weapon, is temporary. So while
Yeah.
collectively decent and with
I
a
mean, I
will
can't
there's
argue
a
with
way,
that.
we cannot ignore the cold harsh reality. But in the same respect,
But I
they
mean,
deserve
like,
credit.
come on, like 99% of players aren't really going to get to a round high enough for that to even affect the gameplay. So, can we really hold it super accountable for that? I mean, we obviously we can because we are right now, but
For how
I don't
unique
know.
they
I
are,
just
for how
I just feel
unique
like
and
it's not
daring
as
the
big of a deal
entire
as everybody makes it out to be.
experience is. Look no further than the celebrity cast directed by the creator of Zombies as we know it, who yes, constantly follows you around, but can be taken advantage of. Every time you put him down, you get the WAF and free drugs. Call of the Dead is an absolute grand slam, especially given the
Yes, it
context
is.
of 2011. It's not perfect. We haven't reached that point in the list, but we are getting closer. At number 14, we have, and
We made it to Shangri-La. Call of the Dead is worse than Shangri-La, according to this man. I don't know what this bro is smoking or what he's on, but this shit is unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Shangri-La is objectively worse than Call of the Dead. I'm
this
not
is
explaining
going to
myself.
rattle some people to their very core. Shangri-La, napalms and shriekers that, while hindering the players, also hinder the zombies. So as long
I
as you're
guess that's
quick and
true.
smart, they will ultimately benefit you. I think a couple of things
benefit, I
give
don't know,
Shangri-La
but-
the slight edge.
I mean, they still affect you pretty
primarily
badly.
The wonder weapon. The baby maker is not only one of the most fun wonder weapons to use, wink, it is one of the best. Thus, high rounding
The fuck does that mean?
is more feasible even despite the tight spacing and continued lack of traps. Shangri-La also has far and away the most beautiful atmosphere in Zombies history.
It's a fun challenge, and 5 isn't.
Piece it all together. And just above that, at number 13, we have BO1's grand finale, Moon. This epic story.
I guess I can agree with this. I mean, Moon at number 13 is kind of crazy, but okay. Okay.
Ends with a big old bang.
Let's listen to this.
Literally, shoot me. Each map within this story gets naturally, progressively better. Moon shares similar characteristics to the previous few maps, and no doubt has the...
We still haven't seen... Shinonuma and Kino are still not on this list.
occasional minor inconvenience. Excavators, cosmonauts, and frankly some of the byproducts of the fact that it's in space, the sporadic anti-gravity, suffocating without the PES. But even despite all of this, it has far and away the most to offer. One of the most effective, dynamic wonder weapons ever, the wave gun.
That's true, the wave gun is really cool.
Space makes for easier, more fun high rounding.
Yeah,
and
it
the
does.
hacker takes things to a whole new level.
I can never use the hacker. Where I play solo, I'm always getting the shit beat out of me from behind. When I try and use this.
Provides a seemingly endless amount of ways to manipulate the game in your favor, and in my opinion, Moon has the greatest Easter egg, the greatest finale in Zombies history.
Greatest Easter egg, I don't know. It's mostly just RNG related. Ending though, ending I can get behind.
I suppose it's
I
not
can get behind
everybody's
the
cup
ending
of
being the
tea,
best.
but a map, no less a man, on the moon is about as ambitious as it gets. The next few maps are also great, but
No! No. 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 It's not true. It's not true. No. Shinonuma is not better. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. Oh my gosh. It's not better than Call of the Dead. It's not better than Buried. It's not better than Mauer. It's not better than Revelations. It's not better than... Oh, it's not better than Dead of Night. It's not better than 5. It's not better than Town. It's not better than... It's not better than Verrucht.
Eddie.
Go ahead.
Simple,
Explain this to me.
Reliable.
If his main reason is high rounds, violence is in my future.
Fun, which I believe sometimes gets lost in the progressive complexity of the mode. And as you'll see at the very top of the list, complexity does go a long way when paired with fun, but simple, balanced fun devoid of...
Balanced? Hold on. Balanced on the map that you can get to around 10,000. Do you mean to talk to me about balanced fun? You know, these placements are starting to make a lot more sense.
of any glaring issues also goes a long way. These maps are nothing if not a relaxing good time. Number 12 might cause a riot in the comments.
You're about to cause a riot in my local fucking city. Solely by me. Shinonuma and World at War have the worst hitboxes I've ever seen. And you mean to talk to me about steady and balanced fun?
It is
fucking crack
Shinonuma.
rock. That's what
Way
this
too
is.
high up on
Crack
the list,
rock.
You may be thinking to yourself, but really, think about it. You have everything.
I'm thinking
you need,
about it.
And there's no catch. There are no drawbacks. Sure, it's a lot like Nocturne.
The bad hitboxes. The wonder weapon that hurts you. The flogger that kills you. I mean, that's it. But that's more than the... Oh, it's not
It's not even
better.
a pack-a-punch machine, but you don't
It's
need that.
a swamp.
All
The
you
water
need
slows you
is the
down.
waff. There's 24 zombies capped per round. It takes but a
What?
few shots to end the
What
round
is
with an
this?
incoming max ammo every
What is
5
this?
rounds or so, thus famously creating the easiest high round of all time, which
Okay. So he's not done with this portion yet. But what I've gathered so far is that a big number equals a good map. How about this number for you? 5. That's a better map. It's got a better location. It's got a better layout. It's got more interesting characters. It's got a shittier wonder weapon. I'll give you that. But it's got better hitboxes.
some may argue takes away from the map. I would argue the opposite. If you're going for the world record or are just trying to get the highest conceivable round,
How many people are going for the world record on a map at any given time? Especially on World at War. Are you serious?
you can get to, you're playing World at War Shinonuma. Yeah, it's basic, but the reason why so many basic maps
Oh, how fun is it to run around in a circle and after like 45 seconds just shoot and then the round ends? Really? Dude, I mean, I'm a Neanderthal, so I mean that does kind of sound fun actually. I just proved my own point. That does sound kind of fun actually, but more fun than let's see, Town, more fun than 5, more fun than Revelations, more fun than D Machine, more fun than Mauer, Buried, Call of the Dead, Moon. No, I don't think so.
Maps landed so low on this list is because it's not really a fair fight. They don't provide sufficient resources. This map does. Not to mention, it's where the storyline unofficially begins. We see Ultimus connect for the first time, and this map innovated quite a bit.
Nocturne Toten was the first zombies map of all time, and you put it as one of the worst, and you want to sit here and talk to me about story importance?
As well with the first high-end wonder weapon and Hellhounds, which quickly became the standard boss zombie.
That's true.
I rest my
and that's
case.
fair.
Shinonuma is quite possibly the most underrated map ever.
How do I say this politely? Fuck you.
And it deserves to be in this spot.
No!
Fight me. Number 11 goes to the Cinema of the Dead, Kino der Toten.
We're talking objective with no nostalgia, and Kino's at 11. This is some kind of sick joke. Kino's a good map,
fascinating
but
reputation.
objectively,
it
no
is
nostalgia,
easily
no
the
feelings.
most iconic, the most popular map.
Objective! Objective! That is not objective. This criteria is fucked.
Map of all time, which makes sense. It launched with the highest selling Call of Duty ever. When you think COD Zombies, you think Kino der Toten. Subsequently, the casuals gassed it up as one of, if not the best map
Why is Jerice above it then? Because we still have not seen that map.
ever, which just objectively
We haven't seen Zetsubo. Dude.
isn't true. There's not enough there for it to take the crown, which sent
Let's just
the
listen.
hardcore players into a frenzy, pushing back, overcompensating, calling it the most overrated map ever. And I think somewhere along the way, we've just sort of lost the plot here. We have lost the nuance. No, it is not the best map ever. Yes, it is still great. It's pretty straightforward.
Kino der Toten, Black Ops 1. What? Ascension above Call of the Dead? This dude's gonna get lynched.
Are officially in the top 10. Number 10 goes
No,
to Ascension,
no.
which,
Ascension's
like
not
Kino,
top 10.
is simple, well-rounded fun. Great high rounding. With
What do we have left? What do we have left? What do we have left? We have all of Black Ops 3. We have Origins. We have Mob of the Dead. We have Derice. I think that's it.
Lots and lots of space, the Thunder Gun, and this giant cylindrical dildo.
No,
that
we have
infinitely
9.
kills and spawn.
We have
It
9.
was, full pun intended, a huge ascension for the mode. A huge step in the right direction. Lots of ambition
What else do we have?
and innovation.
Ancient Evil.
With not one, but 2 perks, PhD and
When did this
stamina,
come out, actually?
Gershes, Matryoshka dolls, and of course Space Monkeys, who
No,
are
8 months ago.
admittedly
Yeah, this
super irritating. I
all
like
of
to
Black
keep
Ops
as
4
many of my
is not
drugs
done,
as I can,
which it
but
should be, 'cause
are
Black Ops 4
unique
mechanics are
nonetheless,
awful.
adding a dynamic we hadn't seen before.
Those monkeys are the fucking worst. Those monkeys almost ruined this map single-handedly. You can't have more than like 2 perks in solo without them just going and fucking them.
And the very first main Easter egg, are you kidding me? And there's just something so cool
yeah,
about
you
riding
can
the
give it
3
that,
lunar
but
landers
objectively,
and
it's like
shooting a rocket up
it's
into
like
the sky
not
for
super
Pack-a-Punch.
good.
It matches the simplistic fun of the previous few maps, but
we're
takes
talking
it up
objectively.
an extra notch. Is even more expansive and exciting. It checks just about every box. Ascension is awesome.
Except difficulty, except challenge, except fun boss round.
But the king of these maps, right above that, at number 9, we have Derice, the most...
So he said in the beginning we're talking about originals only, no remakes. And the number 9 spot is a map where if you use the wonder weapon, you lose Jug and you don't get it back. So explain to me how this is gonna work.
Revolutionary map ever, primarily of course through the debut of Pack-a-Punch, the single most important innovation the mode has ever seen. It cannot be undersold how significant upgrading your guns is. It
yeah,
took
that's
the
true.
game to an
Bro, I forgot the upgraded PPSH has over 1,000 bullets. That's so crazy.
Entirely new level. Of course, paired with the WAF, good spacing, and the most iconic camping spot ever. It also
Agreed,
just so
agreed.
happens to be the route.
Is the giant on this list? If the giant is on this list, we're gonna have some words
The
about
single most important map in the entire Zombies storyline, where
that. Doris is the most important map in the entire zombie storyline. Is that true? Is that true? Somebody's gonna have to tell me, cause I don't know about that.
Group 935 and their experimentation with Element 115 kicks off. That's, of course, World at War.
So the start is the most important, but Nocturne Toten is all the way back here. Okay, that makes
And while
sense.
we're
Yeah,
not necessarily
thanks for
focusing
that.
specifically on the gameplay of the Giant, its revamped story helped kick off BO. Specifically
This is
on
how
the
I fucking
gameplay
look
of
watching
the
this
Giant,
list,
its
bro.
revamped story. These final 8 maps
Let's hear him out. Let's hear him out.
are absolute master class experiences.
I really don't like the
Like
winter
the
weather,
other
though.
grades are well-rounded, fun, no major weakness, and instead of being on
I better see Mob of the Dead. I better see Shadows. I better see Dreisendrach. Origins. I better see... That's about it. I don't care about
the
the rest.
simpler side have the added benefit of being more complex, more expansive. Number 8 goes to BO4's 9, a chaos map that, like Voyage of Despair, Dead of the Night,
best
went
chaos
out on a limb,
map.
took a big
Oh, well,
swing,
I
but
don't know,
instead made
Ancient
an
Evil is actually
enjoyable,
good.
high-end experience. 9 breaks Celtic goddess Danu, Greek god Zeus, and of course,
I hated this perk system. They took out the machines in place for this.
Norse god Odin.
They're
Within
just
an
not as
overarching
cool
Roman
as the
Colosseum.
as the
You'd
like the
think
super unique
that essentially
machines that have
dividing the map into
jingles and
4
stuff,
separate
and all these
quadrants would
dudes go,
cause a
what? Pretty interesting, huh? I don't know if I'd use that as a descriptor for the story of Chaos. Up until the end, at least. I mean, I don't know, man.
the
I don't
Easter egg,
know.
the only banger,
Okay,
Ancient
well,
Evil.
at least they're not super
Unfortunately,
high
it is
on
at
top
this
10.
point in the DLC
I
season
can
that a lot of
forgive
people had
this
given
for now.
up on BO4, which sucks because I
I know
believe
I
it's the
did.
best in the game. Another
After that
dramatically
launch, I was
stunning
out, bro.
atmosphere
I
taking
went back
place
to
in
Black
the
Ops 3
ancient
and Black
lost
Ops
city
2.
of Delphi, Greece, battling some of its
These systems
fiercest
were not
mythological
it at all.
creatures. With the majestic Pegasus by their side, the crew fight their way through Perseus and his undead army, only to stumble upon Medusa in an epic, sexy finale.
What did he just... What did he just say? I'm not rewinding
9,
that.
but what gives
I
it
don't
the
want to hear
clear
that again.
edge are the 4 elemental gauntlets revolved around the gods of Charon, Oranos, Gaia, and Hemera. Alert is one of the key elements of some of the best maps ever.
Oh,
Ancient
really?
Evil is
Okay.
a
You know
gem.
what?
It's
You've heard it
underrated.
too
I
many
wish more
times. I'm not
people
gonna say it again.
appreciated its greatness. Number 6 goes to Zetsubonishima. BO3 mastered the
Zetsubo in top 10 is kind of unheard of. But I respect it. Zetsubo gets way too much hate. You know, I saw an old The Smith Plays top 5 the other day. It was top 5 worst maps of all time, and Zetsubo was on it. Zetsubo was on the list for top 5 worst maps of all time. That is insane.
formula. These maps check every single box paired
Black
with
Ops 3
the
is going to
absolute
dominate these
peak
last few. This map really took Takio's character and elevated him tremendously. Like, before this map, nobody really cared for his character that much. But after this map, when that last final cutscene of the Easter egg came out, people were going crazy for this man. People were going crazy for this man. I mean, it was a really good final cutscene. I'll give it that.
However, it perfects
When this map came out, the doors cost so much to open that they literally had to nerf the cost of their own doors. Isn't that crazy? I don't think I've ever seen that since then. Or before that. I think that's the only map that they had a problem with. Because it was just so expensive to get through the map.
power. The KT-4 and Skull of Non-Sapwa make a formidable duo.
That is the best specialist in Black Ops 3. Hands down. The most unique as well. The skull has a good process to get it, which isn't too hard, but isn't too easy at the same time. It's actually kind of challenging to get it. Using it is super rewarding. It's super powerful. and it's really satisfying to use. And then the
against the island's
KT4 is, you know,
monstrosities.
it's good,
Giant
it's okay.
spiders.
It's kind of annoying to make and upgrade.
Giant spider. And
This, go back.
island's monstrosities. Giant spiders.
That spider boss fight was insane when this came out. It still is crazy. I wish they would do more stuff like this. I don't know how they didn't get the feedback and start trying more stuff like that, but this is one of the best features of the map and single-handedly bumps it up like at least one tier on the list, bro. It's an awesome fight for sure, and it's got a good reward with the free Widow's Wine at the end.
Giant spider and thrashers, which are sometimes admittedly annoying but fitting and unique.
Oh yeah, for sure. The Thrashers are annoying and probably the worst part of the entire map, but I mean, it doesn't drag it down too much. Obviously, it's still in the top 10.
Even more riveting is the new planting system. Watering seeds with different combinations of colors result
I wasn't too much of a fan of this. I thought it was kind of
possibilities,
pointless.
be it handouts like guns,
Most of the
power-ups,
time,
and perks,
the
or plants
power
that
ups
manipulate
and
zombies in
stuff that
several
it gives
ways.
you is
Upon
not worth all
release,
the
this
effort.
map was poorly received, but it aged like the finest of wine. Over
Yes, it
time,
did.
it became
A lot like
clear
Shadows.
that it deserved a place amongst the greats. Don't get me wrong, it is not for the weak-willed, for the faint-hearted. Setting up on this map absolutely can be overwhelming, but once you get over that hump, once it becomes routine, Zetsubo no Shima offers some of the best
I'm still
gameplay
trying
out
to
there.
get into
We are now on the top
map
5,
and
boys,
get into a
and that
good
fifth
routine
spot
of
is
it.
going to go to Gorod Krovi.
Top 10, maybe lower top 10. Number 5, I don't know about that one. It is a good map. It's super fun map. It's really reminiscent of Black Ops 1. The Wonder Weapon's fun to use. But top 5, let's see what he has to
Crew
say.
heads to war-torn, zombie-infested Stalingrad to battle fire-breathing dragons and procure a drunken Nikolai from his mech suit. Gorod Krovi is somewhat of a hybrid. It meets the qualifications of a masterpiece, no doubt, but it also, in lots of ways, represents old-school zombies, from the Wonder Weapon being in the mystery box, to the classic link-up to Pack-a-Punch, to the World War II setting. It's basically an advanced Ascension with dragons instead of lunar landers. And the dragon theme is outstanding.
I guess the Pack-a-Punch system you could say that for, but if he's talking like the map in general, there's no way. Ascension is way easier than this
Beyond their
map.
mere presence,
This
the
map is
Dragon
actually kind of
Strike,
difficult.
Shield, and Specialist are
don't think I've
badass. It's
completed
balls to
the
the
Easter egg
walls,
solo
man.
yet.
Cranking Motorhead,
keep
slurping
dying.
vodka, running and gunning through fire. Until you get the Ray Gun Mark III, in which case you are now camping. Especially since
Yeah,
those
that's
naughty
true.
dragons are breathing fire everywhere.
This Wonder
and
Weapon
those
is
Valkyrie drones are
100%
gonna
made
camp
for
behind
camping
you and shock you
strategies.
in the butthole. Which I would say makes high rounding a little one-dimensional, but at least it's not an absolute necessity, and the Mark III is fun to use. You get the highly detailed...
The double Pack-a-Punch feature in Black Ops 3 makes it to where you don't need a Wonder Weapon in every game you play. Getting double Pack-a-Punch pretty much gives you your own Wonder Weapon with more ammo.
complete experience
So that
here,
really
like
helps
that of
in every single
Zetsubo,
map
but
of
get
Black
to the
Ops
fun
3.
much quicker. Number 4 marks the elite of
No! Come on. Shadows is at
elite,
least
and it
1 or
belongs
2.
to
Come on now.
Shadows of Evil. Absolutely jaw-dropping and ballsy. It kicks off BO3 with an entirely new cast of characters,
And they're
is
actually
driven
kind
by
of
a
good.
Puffican
They're not
lore,
terrible.
which, understandably, especially at launch, was off-putting to many. After the long gap in between BO2 and 3, we were not greeted with Primus, rather the Shadow Man, who dupes these 4 morally corrupt sinners into grabbing the summoning key.
This map did the 4 brand new characters way better than Dead of the Night did. And it's so crazy that Dead of the Night is like one of the most recent celebrity voice cast maps, because it seems like they learned nothing from not Dead of the Night, Mob of the Dead and Shadows. They took everything that made those characters good and just kind of like shit on it for Dead of the Night, and then threw that in the map.
By traveling to the districts of each respective character within this glamorous yet dark city. It's through this process that we explore their backgrounds and every square inch of the most highly detailed map ever, where underneath we're led to Pack-a-Punch in what feels like the fiery pits of hell. Perhaps
I've heard people complain that the Pack-a-Punch method, like to get to Pack-a-Punch, that the process to get to Pack-a-Punch is too complicated. But I mean, look at the map we're playing on. I think it perfectly fits the map. It perfectly fits the narrative. I don't think it's too difficult. It's just 4 rituals. It provides you a challenge in the map. It's not super easy. That's what the giant is for. And I just don't think it's
Perhaps
too
a
difficult at
metaphor
all.
for their crimes. And it didn't take long for us to get comfortable with the tentacles we were
Yes, this afterlife mode is like insanely good, and I'm so glad they brought that back. The fact that they brought this back for Shadows and didn't bring it back for Blood of the Dead is like absolutely insane. They need to be locked in jail for that. But Beast mode is
were initially
really
so
it's really
weary
good.
of.
I really enjoy
It
it.
turns out Beast Mode is exactly like Afterlife. It turns out the Apothecant Servant is one of the best wonder weapons ever.
It
And the
is the
Margwa,
best wonder weapon of
one of
all
the
time
best
by
bosses
far.
ever. Other innovations include
And
the
yes, the Margwa is probably the most fair and balanced
Apothecant
boss
Sword,
zombie
Lil
we've got.
Arnie's, Civil Protector, Widow's Wine, and so much more. This map is amongst the most ambitious, and I think what's
Yes,
most
it is, and
impressive
they did every
is
single
it
part
made
of it
us
right.
care about a group of nobodies, a subplot. Lots of maps have taken
Kind of like Mob of the Dead. Kind of like what they should have done for Dead of the Night. But what do I know? What the fuck do I know?
big swings and struck out. Shadows of Evil is a grand slam, an excellent
Yes, it is.
start to
100%.
the best
Yes, it is.
Zombies game. Just above that.
No!
At number 3 we have
No! No. No. This needs to be number 1 or number 2. It is not number 3, and Shadows is not number 4. What's it? My guess for the next one is it's gonna be Dry's Rock number 2, and then Origins number 1.
Mob of the
Tell me why it's in number
Dead.
3.
I'm getting excited just talking about it. It was basically Shadows of Evil before Shadows of Evil. Same era, same vibe. Hell, I'm all but certain these people knew each other. After all, the mob was probably from Chicago. I meant Morgue City. We follow 4 mobsters who,
Okay.
in direct parallel with real life,
Okay,
plot
all
escape
positive so
from
far. I agree with
Alcatraz
this.
Island, having stashed away several makeshift plane components throughout the prison to then craft on the rooftop. When the plane doesn't work, Sal, Finn, and Billy murder Al, the Weasel, in fear of betrayal.
Chopper just
which
got
promptly
fucking
sends
murdered.
them to the electric chair to be executed. However, their souls are unable to move on, making what was already hell on Earth far more literal with a zombie outbreak. They're doomed to repeat the same night for eternity until the Weasel, oppositely, kills them, thus breaking the cycle, which is a microcosm for the entire premise story to follow. Even more impressive than the story.
Yeah. The fact that Premise followed this and had the same ending was honestly kind of annoying. I wish they would have gone in a different direction with that, but I've already talked about that.
Telling is how only to crash into the Golden Gate Bridge, where Pack-a-Punch and an electric chair wait, sending you back to the island in Afterlife. Rinse and repeat.
And they took these great features, brought them to Blood of the Dead, shit on them, destroyed them, and threw them away.
Unlike some other maps based on real locations, Mob of the Dead transitions beautifully to the mode with great spacing, a seamless flow, and a truly hellish, gut-wrenching atmosphere. It's one of the most unique and innovative maps ever, highlighted by the first wonder weapon with multiple different upgrades. You can pack a punch the blunder.
I didn't realize that this was the first one to do something like that, but it makes sense now that I'm thinking about it. For this to be Jason Blundell's first map is actually incredible. I would not have imagined it to be something this amazing.
Gat for the sweeper.
But I mean, he did bring
use
us
the
Black
acid
Ops
gat
3,
kit,
so
or both
it was
through
not
the
just a
Trollic
one and
Withering.
done.
Mob of the Dead is the first of its kind. It cracked the code. It's phenomenal in every way, and frankly
Black Ops
saved
4,
the
but we
mode
don't
from
talk
its
about that.
imminent spiraling downfall after BO2's disgraceful launch. Number 2, the silver medal goes to Origins,
I was wrong.
which took the
Why is this
formula
number
Mob of the Dead
2?
laid out to an even higher level. These maps are clear outliers in BO2, given they shook up the dev team and shifted their attention away from
This
the
is the best
largely
intro
uninteresting
to any
Victor
map.
story and
This is the best
rebooted
intro
the
cinematic
OG
to any
Ultimates
map.
crew, dubbed this younger, sexier version of our crew. Pick
This is the second time. I have a couple questions for this man. I don't think he's gonna like them.
up where Maxis left off, gathering the gateway keys, in other words staves, to free his daughter Samantha, in other words annoying bitch who won't shut up the entire
That's a kid.
game.
That's a
Tamagotchi,
kid!
in other words, the house, which, despite the confusing cliffhanger, is great storytelling. The staves were also the first of their kind, revolving around the elements of ice, lightning, fire, and wind,
Then they'd go on to reuse this multiple times.
providing firepower and replayability the likes of which we had never seen. You now
Okay, so everything original about these last 3 maps, Yeah, they're gonna take that and completely put them all into one map, and it's not gonna be original. It's gonna be all the good parts of other maps put into one, and he's gonna say that's the best map of all time.
Now have the
Okay,
opportunity to try
but
4 wonder
he
weapons
appreciates
in the
originality.
same
Yeah. Okay.
game,
Yeah,
offering several
that makes
different
sense.
strategies and experiences, thus incentive to replay. Though building and upgrading the stabs is an extremely tall task, it's ultimately worth it. The stabs are extremely good, and frankly, without them, you're going to struggle to take out the Panzer Soldat, who, by the way, is a perfect boss for this magnitude of map. With such
The
powerful wonder
Panzer
weapons, you need a
in Origins is so scary on those early rounds. If you're not set up, if you don't have a staff, if you're not ready for him, he will fuck you up.
powerful
I think
boss
he's a
to
really
balance
good
things out. He is
aesthetic
not to be taken
boss, as
lightly.
well as
He
like
is
a
no
super
fucking
powerful one
joke,
as well.
especially
I think
early in
he's
the
pretty
game.
fair
He
to fight
places so much
against.
urgency on being
Unless you have a
efficient and
staff,
getting
and then
your
he's
shit
super
together
easy.
quickly.
Just like, I mean, you just saw
You
it.
better be ready. Origins, like all great maps, innovated a ton, so much so that rattling off every little thing would take forever. The highlight is hands down the Wonder Fizz machine, though, which is essentially the mystery box, but for perks. The atmosphere also gets an A+, fighting the undead in the trenches of World War I with giant robots and planes.
Who thought of the giant 1,000-foot robots? Like, how does that make any sense? Why do they need to be 1,000 feet tall?
That is until February 2nd, 2016,
Here it
when it was
is.
topped. The
Here
single
it is.
greatest zombies map of all time. Number 1, Der Eisendrache.
This is the most replayed zombies map in Black Ops 3 by far. The wait from Zetsubo to Garad, actually, from the time Der Eisendrache came out to Garad Krovi coming out, this is the only map motherfuckers played. And you know what? These YouTubers got fucking paid off those bow tutorials. You
My
know
case
it.
is very simple. It's everything that Origins is, minus the headache.
What?
No, really, it's strikingly similar to Origins. They're both Group 935 facilities in cold, harsh environments with premise, and Der Eisendrache also has 4 elemental wonder weapons.
Der Eisendrache 100% deserves to be in top 5. No doubt about that. 100%. Do not get me wrong about that. But the map doesn't do anything original. Everything in this map is something that was come up with or created in another map, except it's reskinned and put in this map.
Panzer, Wonder Fizz, and so on.
And I wouldn't care about that, but he made it a point that originality and innovation are something that he likes in a map.
Cut from the exact same cloth, but what makes Der Eisendrache the more enjoyable experience is making what should be simpler, simpler. Power is one convenient switch, whereas generators and Origins deactivate one by one until you run all the way across the map to stop it.
Those Templars do suck. I will 100% agree with that. 100%.
Subsequently turning off
They're
everything
very
in the
annoying and
area
unnecessary.
Pack-a-Punch, which on Der Eisendrache
I don't like the moving Pack-a-Punch. The moving Pack-a-Punch system is more annoying than it is helpful, honestly.
is a click of 2 buttons. Don't get it twisted, I'm not taking anything away from Origins, but Der Eisendrache does what it does more efficiently. It's less strenuous, less painstaking. I will say, the story of Origins is more grand. It certainly eclipses Der Eisendrache's role, but that's not to say that Der Eisendrache isn't excellent in its own respect. Fighting zombies in a medieval castle and procuring Dempsey's soul on the way to a giant keeper boss fight to then blow up the moon isn't exactly something to sneeze at. And neither are the bows, which are undoubtedly on the same level as the stabs, and in my opinion are much cooler. Whether you prefer
I'd put them on
the
the same level
with the vengeful spirit
I
of
wouldn't
the
say
Wolf
they're
King,
cooler.
melting them
I'd say
down
they're
with
about the
lava,
same.
siphoning them into oblivion, or simply staying put and systematically electrocuting them, there's a strategy made just
With that lightning bow, the storm bow, you can do any strategy you want, and that thing will destroy zombies. They really brought the heat with Wonder Weapons in Black Ops 3.
About Der Eisendrache, but the bottom line is, it is perfection. Unlike Origins, which slightly favors the hardcore player, Der Eisendrache
That's true,
accepts all players
but as a hardcore
and all
player,
playstyles. That's all she
wouldn't
wrote.
you like that?
That is it. That is my stone cold, sober, objective analysis, ranking every
Objective? Bro, Shinonuma does not need to be here. It needs to be here. Or here. Or here. Maybe here. There is no way.
Call of Duty Treyarch
Objective.
Zombies
Yeah,
map
objective,
from
okay.
worst to best. It took forever. So if you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Again,
Yeah, that's right actually. If you enjoyed, do leave a like and subscribe.